Here we are.
Here we are.
I'm so excited.
I know.
It feels so strange to be sitting here doing our podcast after, I think, working on it for a year. I don't want to set the expectations too high when saying that, but it feels like a surreal moment.
Yeah, it has been a year, and I want to welcome everyone to our Kulti podcast. Very excited to be here.
Yes.
I think we realized that, we have the same passions and we have the same direction kind of in life for things that we want to achieve and do. And we realized that there's a lot of topics and ideas out there that we still want to present to the world. And I feel like we as two diaspora girlies from the Balkans really could weigh in on that, and we hope to make a positive change in that sense and have some impact. We're going to be kind of like your big sisters, right, online?
I love how you're already laying out what we're going to do, but maybe we can introduce ourselves.
Yeah, let's do that.
I'll give the floor to you.
So my name is Nejra, and I've known Nada for 8 years now, right? We met.
Is it 8 years?
I think so.
Time flies by when you're having fun.
I guess.
When you're just a girl.
When you're just a girl, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm 30 years old. I'm from Bosnia, if we're, ethnically speaking, going to look at it. But I grew up in the Netherlands, in Rotterdam, to be precise. And
the best city of the Netherlands.
I'm biased, but thank you. I do agree with that. And yeah, like I said, we've known each other for 8 years, and we met actually at BNNVARA. For those who are not from the Netherlands, that's like a channel network place.
Like broadcasting, television.
Yeah.
Like the BBC, but not BBC, Dutch? But like a broadcast thing.
Yeah. But younger and Dutch. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And we were the only two Balkan girlies, actually.
Yes.
So we obviously connected. Which brings me to you. Nada, who are you?
Yeah, my name is Nada. Ethnically speaking, I'm from Macedonia. My parents are born there in Strumica, for those who know. And I was born in Utrecht. Not as fun as Rotterdam, even though I'm born and raised in Utrecht. But I have to say Rotterdam is way better. And yeah, we met in BNNVARA. And I remember I saw this cool girl walking around with she had Slavic text on her shirt.
Oh,
and I was like, I need to speak to her ASAP. And you were doing more the production side of television.
Yeah.
And I did more camera stuff, in front of the camera, like a TV host.
Yeah.
I came up with concepts for TV programs, something like that, documentaries. And I think at the end of the journey at BNN, we both found ourselves in a place where we were kind of disappointed with how wide the media landscape in the West, in the Netherlands, is.
Yeah.
And we lost a bit of contact, I think, after that. We went our separate ways, but God has put us on each other's path again to make this happen.
I love that for us.
Yeah, and I think I'm so excited to start this podcast with you, with a Balkan person. As you mentioned briefly, to offer representation for people like us. I think there's so much negative stereotypes around the Balkans, and we really want to change that. We just want to make topics in the Balkans more maybe, how do you say that? Lightweight. By the way, if you hear me saying how do you say that? English is not my first language, not even my second. And I'm not used to speaking in English in front of a camera, so bear with us.
Yeah. You're doing great, sweetie.
Thank you so much. I think you feel a bit more comfortable than me right now in that regard, but we'll make it work. We speak 3 languages. We can...
At least, yeah.
We will make it work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just super excited to offer positive representation, but also kind of discuss topics that are never discussed in our culture, to kind of offer also the diaspora perspective and break the rules, the Balkan rules a bit here.
Exactly.
Am I saying that right?
You are, correct.
Yeah.
And I think it's also important to mention that, despite our differences, right? You being Macedonian, Orthodox, you grew up in that way, and I grew up Muslim, Bosnian.
Yeah.
I think that that's a beautiful thing that we can show, you can be different, especially coming from the Balkans, right? Where hatred is a very big part of the narrative still. And obviously, I'm not saying we should ignore what happened in the past, but it's also time for us to all move forward to connect us all together. So I think we can be that bridge, kind of. So yeah, I'm happy that we're doing this. And I don't think I could have had a better partner for this.
Same. I'm so excited. That being said, I think let's just move on to the first segment that we have for you guys.
Yes, which is called Ajde na kafe.
Ajde na kafe.
Or Ajde na kafu.
Jullie Ajde na kafu? Am I saying?
Hajdena kafe.
Hajdena kafe.
How would you say it in Macedonia?
Hajdena kafe.
Hajdena kafe.
Hajdena
Okay.
kafe.
I'm cool with both.
Plain
As long
and
as there's
simple.
coffee,
We'll
I'm
just
good.
mix. Exactly. What is your go-to coffee when you go out for coffee in the Balkans?
Espresso macchiato.
Espresso macchiato.
Yeah, and we call it malu s toplim mlijekom.
And what is the translation for those who don't speak it?
A small one with hot milk.
I love that.
Sounds very cheesy, but I mean, yeah.
I don't know, this is like so stereotypical of me, but I expected like a Bosnian girl to like fully have like a full black on Bosnian coffee every day
I can
for
drink
lunch, dinner.
it, you know, like if you offer me, I won't say no. And I love a Bosnian coffee when I'm there. I never make it at home, I have to say. Like I've never made a Bosnian coffee.
Shame.
Wow, this is really...
Shame.
We're coming in hot, right?
So this is like for nothing? This what you brought?
This is like, if I'm buying people coffee, right, when I'm going and visiting them, this is what I would buy them. There's different brands, but I like this brand. Like,
This is the best. Sponsor us, Grand Gold Coffee.
exactly, yeah.
All right.
How about you?
What do I order? Oh, I love, because usually I go in the summer to Macedonia. I love damn, what was it called? On the spot, you forget everything.
Yeah.
It's like a cold cappuccino. Freddo cappuccino.
Okay.
So it's basically a cappuccino with like ice.
Oh, I can just
Which
hear
I love,
I can just hear the Greeks in the comments already.
Let's not start a coffee war before first episode.
Yeah, please, let's not do that.
And I love a frappe. I love like a Greek frappe. It's just like the best.
Yeah, it really
like
is.
on the beach in Greece.
Yeah. But you also drink that in the winter. I've seen you drink it in the winter.
I love.
I cannot imagine that.
I'm like I just love a good iced coffee, whether it's frappe, a Freddo cappuccino, a Freddo macchiato, a Freddo espresso. I don't
Just
care.
Freddo anything.
Freddo anything.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Love that.
And I think for the segment Ajvar and Kafe, we have our little cute jezve set from Bosnia, from Sarajevo, that Nejra gifted me, which is so stinking cute.
Right?
It's so us.
I love that it's pink.
Yes, and with Ajvar and Kafe, we basically bring like a topic that you would bring also when you go drink coffee with a friend to discuss and dissect, as we do in the Balkans, you know? So tell me.
You know what? I think we're going to come in hot, and we're going to talk about what happened in Sarajevo, which was, of course, when this comes out, this will be old news, right? But I think for right now, it's also very important to highlight that there's been an incident in Sarajevo with the tram. It's basically derailed off the track, like completely. I don't know if you can even visualize it. I know that you probably haven't seen it yet, but imagine a tram going like in a curve, I don't know.
Yeah.
And it kind of derails from the track. And it actually injured a lot of people, or like, I don't know, 4 or 5 maybe at this point.
This was in Sarajevo?
Yes,
Okay.
3 days ago. And one guy died from the incident. It's been... Everyone's really, really shaken up. I think thousands of people have been protesting yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not see anything online. I've been living under a rock.
It takes some time to get to this part of the world, but obviously I follow all the Bosnian outlets as well, so I've seen it. It's tragic, and the worst part is that we've been seeing this a lot, right, in the Balkan regions, where this is why I'm mentioning it. It's so relevant for all of us, because we've also seen it in Niš, you know, like a little while ago, where the train station fell apart. Also injured, killed people, and it's just a lack of the government not being held accountable, not putting in the money that they should be putting in. It's not safe enough, and I think people are just so fed up with corruption.
Because this incident is also tied to negligence and corruption?
100%, you know.
Yeah.
There's, at this point, you can't just say it's an accident, especially if you think about all the things that we've been seeing in the Balkans, right? In these regions, and knowing what we know about our leaders and the government stealing money from people who work very hard to earn that. It's just a no-go. And I'm really happy to see that we're getting support also from other people. You know, we saw the students protest in Belgrade some time ago, and that was also really heartwarming to see that. Not just was it the students in Belgrade, but students all over the Balkan region showed support, from Bosnia, from Croatia. And I think this is the moment where we all come together and, you know, we put our differences aside. Again, the hatred, the stuff
it's like the silver lining in a situation like this, where I think this story is so recognizable for anyone in the Balkans, even though I haven't been to Sarajevo, for example. Like, I can already feel like the pain that Bosnians must be going through. It's just like so frustrating that due to corruption and negligence, people just die. Yeah. And I think corruption might be like the number one cause of death in the Balkans at this point, you know. We've seen it in Kočani, in Macedonia this year with the fire. As you said, in Niš, and it's just heartbreaking. And at the same time, it's the reality that we all live in the Balkans. Even though if you're from diaspora, like still, you know, people there, you know, know.
It hits home, you know?
Yeah. Is there like anywhere we can donate? Is there anything people can do?
I think it just happened, so I'm not quite sure what the latest update is on that. Yeah. I'm assuming at some point there will be, and I think right now the biggest issue that we have, or the biggest concern we have, is to make sure we really put pressure on our leaders to make sure that this doesn't go unnoticed. Because like I said, it's not the first time, right? We've had several things happen in the last 2 years region-wide, and, you know, enough is enough. And it's heartbreaking to see that this is something that could be so easily prevented, you know? There's absolutely no reason. Like, we got new trams and stuff as well, but it doesn't stop there. Like, we really need to put in the work, the money, the effort that people need to see from their government leaders, and they're just not doing it. And it's horrible. Yeah, this could have been prevented. That's the heartbreaking part. This could have been prevented easily.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think also, for me, living in a country in the Netherlands where things are usually as they should be, where institutions function most of the time as they should, where there are like these processes of checking whether people adhere to the rules, whether construction is safe. It's like it's also survivor's guilt that I feel with these kind of stories. Not to make it about us in this situation, but I think especially for diaspora people, like, we should also like force ourselves to think how we can contribute to these issues, even though corruption seems so like bigger than you and bigger than us. I think we also share a responsibility, at least maybe like we do right now, to use our platform to raise awareness, donate money, see how we can help in forms of networks, you know, between citizens and organizations and groups, you know, to
100%.
Maybe prevent these types of things. But if there's a donation link or anything, we will put it in the bio of this video, and we will also like make a post about it.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
Of course, May we never is a strong word, but may we not see any incidents like this in the near future.
Yeah, I hear you.
May we see a change. I think that's the biggest thing that we can pull from this conversation. May we see a change.
Finally.
At that point,
Yeah. All right, so for the next segment, I thought it's a fun way to get to know each other, but the audience also to get to know us.
Yeah.
To do a little this or that. Have you ever played it? Like, do you know what the concept is?
I have. I'm curious what kind of controversial topics you're gonna...
So basically, you have to choose one. Okay. Don't really overthink it. Okay. And let's have a little discussion about it. I'm sure we can have that, you know.
To give some insights, both Nada and I have, you know, thought of some hot takes and like this or that topics. And I think we both are not fully aware what the other has written down, right? So it's going to be a little bit of a surprise for us as well. So we're keeping each other on our toes.
Yeah, and please let us know what you think also. Would love to hear it. Let's start hot.
Okay.
Here.
Okay.
Cevapcici or pljeskavica?
Okay, first, let's not call it Cevapcici.
Is that controversial?
I don't think a lot of people have strong opinions on this. I really do. You'll never hear someone go to Sarajevo or Travnik and say, "Can I have Cevapcici?" Like, we all call it Cevapi.
So people will know I'm a tourist if I say that. Oh,
yes.
Oh, I thought I had like so many aura points with like, I thought I spelled it like super correctly also, you know, like Cevapcici.
Yeah. I mean, A for effort, you know.
Okay, but what do you say, Cevapi? Just Cevapi.
Yeah.
Okay, Cevapi.
Yeah. So you said Cevapi
or pljeskavica?
Cevapi.
Okay, tell me why.
I mean, really...
What is the major difference between a pljeskavica and cevapi, you know? Like, isn't it meat?
It is, but how do I put this? Instead of one big piece of meat, right? These are, you know, you can have a portion of 5, 7, 10, whatever, how much you can eat. I don't know, they're like...
You can dose
juicier,
it better.
You can dose it better. It's
everything mini is,
you know,
also
and
better.
Also you can take your bread and then, you know, a little bit of bread, a little bit of onion with the... I know, fuck.
Stop.
You take a little bit of bread with it, and it's just, you can portion it better. The flavors are hitting you, you know? With the pljeskavica, you come in with your cutlery, you're cutting the thing.
You know what?
Like,
you're so right. It's so annoying.
Right?
But I do love in Macedonia, we have a šarska pljeskavica.
Okay.
It's so good. It's like with cheese or kajmak, you know, in the inside. And I do like
Inside?
Yes.
Inside the pljeskavica?
Yeah, so you like open it and it's like...
Okay.
Stop, I'm getting so hungry.
Wait, for those who don't know, right? We have... Cevapi is like little kebabs, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to put it, but different, right? And then pljeskavica is basically like a burger?
Like a burger, yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Both have pros and cons, but I do hear you, like everything mini is just better.
Yeah.
So I hear you completely.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know Cevapi, like as a Bosnian now, all Bosnians, you speak for all Bosnians, it's Cevapi.
That's a lot of pressure, but yeah.
All right, ajvar or kajmak?
I'm sitting with a Macedonian.
This is the ultimate test right now.
Ajvar.
Okay, period.
Yeah, and not just because you're sitting here with me, but because on a daily occasion, right? On a weekly occasion even, I won't eat kajmak as much. Like that's really a side dish for me for certain things. But ajvar is something that I'll have in the morning as well, you know?
Period.
Like,
please tell them about like the ajvar experience you had this year.
Oh,
shortly.
Okay, so Nada has a connection. This sounds very illegal, but it's not.
I feel like a plug though.
Right?
Like, I do feel like the ajvar plug.
You are my ajvar plug at this point.
Yeah.
And I just had the best ajvar in my life coming from this plug. Where is it from, the ajvar? What region?
So it's from the region that I'm from. It's from the Strumica region. This one specific, I think, was from Valandovo. My parents took it. And that region is known to have like the best peppers in the whole of like former Yugoslavia, you know. So,
and honestly, if you're a real one, you know that that's true, because even my parents, my dad, you know, when we talked about it, he was like, "Oh yeah, like ajvar, it should be from Macedonia. Like that's the
if the
real one."
older generation says it, it must be true. So let's just leave it at that. You know?
Yeah.
I'm just so happy. Like when I gave her the ajvar, we say, like. How happy you were, because you were first like, no, the store bought is also fine. I was like, that's the same if you're saying that like Cevapi.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you were like, no, the store bought is also fine. Like, how good can it be?
I was on something.
And after she was texting me, do you have more ajvar? Do you have more for me? Like, we need more. It was like so funny. But now that we got that out of the way, I have the last one for you.
Okay.
In the city or in the mountains?
Ooh.
It's a difficult one. Huh?
I would be a fraud to say in the mountains, because I can only be in the mountains for so long, okay? I'm just a girl,
We're
right?
city girls at the end of the day.
We are city girls at the end of the day. So I do love a good mountain trip, like do a little hike, you know, have a little cabin, whatever, get the fire going. But I am a city girl. Yeah.
City girl at heart.
Exactly. But I do think as I'm growing older, and maybe you'll share this sentiment, as I'm growing older, I do feel like I want more of an escape from the city, where I remember when my dad
100%.
used to tell me, you know, like, oh, you're going to love this when you're older. I was like, oh, Dad, that's not true. But it 100% is true. Yeah.
I mean, our ancestors come from the mountains, you know, so I think always when I'm in a mountain, I feel such a special connection to the mountains. Like I genuinely get emotional sometimes being in the mountains.
I get that.
You know, being so overwhelmed by how large they are and how overwhelming it can feel to stand next to a mountain.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
yeah,
I just love to drink a coffee in the city, you know, like.
You know, I was gonna say that. Like, I cannot imagine that I can like walk down and be like, oh, you know, I'm gonna have a flat white somewhere and just sit down and enjoy my pastry.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's, I don't know if people will resonate to that, but I love that.
I love it too.
That, yeah.
I just love the city also.
I think it's also a very girl thing, you know?
I just love being comfortable also. Like, I love the mountains, but after like a couple of days that you're there, you're just like, I want a decent shower.
Yeah. Oh, we would not go camping.
No.
That's for sure. And I get a lot of heat.
I would like to try like glamping, but like barefoot in the mountain.
Barefoot? Girl, why are you barefoot?
I don't know. Like,
is that what you imagine when people go camping?
That's what I kind of low-key imagine people living like in the mountain. But see, like I'm not for the mountains. See what my images of it.
Yeah.
All right. I'm so happy that I got to know you better in this segment. And I think next time you'll come prepared with some questions for me.
I will.
Okay.
I'm
very
sure,
curious.
You're also on your toes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, I think we came to an end of this... like our first episodes.
Oh wow!
I can't believe it.
That was crazy. That went
Time
by so
flies
fast.
by so fast.
That went by so fast.
Right?
Okay.
I know.
I just want to say one more time, thank you really for doing this with me, and I hope that we, you know, can reach out to a lot of people, and hopefully they can feel some sort of resemblance with what we're sharing here, and we're really happy to hear from other people as well. Also, the reason why we're doing this is there's too many men with a microphone, honestly. Like, we just need, right? I mean...
Raise prices on microphones, guys.
Yeah. I mean,
this is not ours. We didn't pay for it.
No, but, it's a nice one. I like it.
Yes.
So I think that there is some more women's perspective needed, especially, I think, in the Balkan region. But I think, us being Balkan girlies, it doesn't stop there. I think we can reach out to a lot more girls from different cultures who maybe, feel the same way about certain things. And we're going to have some controversial topics at some point maybe, or, things that are a little bit taboo in our culture. And that's exactly what we want to kind of crush, Like, these are things we should talk about. Yeah. And that's what we're here for.
Yeah. I think this podcast really gives room to laugh, to cry, to be mad, be serious, be funny, Like, you never know what to expect. And I think being from the Balkans, obviously sometimes that can hold like a lot of like negative connotation, like female rage maybe. But also I'm so happy to be Balkan because we have so many influences. We have like a Muslim community. We have like Christians. We have influence from like the Ottoman Empire. We have influence from the West, from the East. We have so many influences, and I feel like what all connects us is that rice, We are like the epitome of like...
Yeah.
Connect like the middle point of everything. I feel like maybe I'm tooting my own Balkan horn here, but I do feel like that. I feel like we can relate to a lot of people. So I hope this is also a safe space for non-Balkan people. Like
exactly. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much for watching, and tune in next week. Bye.